The NASCAR Xfinity Series race has officially concluded for Martinsville Speedway, and Taylor Gray gets redemption from the spring and picks up his first career win, and we see some fun and great racing. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Xfinity Series race in Martinsville Speedway. The IAA Richie Bros 250. We had quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about it. So before the green flag drop, Anthony Alfredo and Connor Zolch would have to go to the rear of the field front of per the justice. Connor Zolch had crashed during practice and would have to start at the rear of the field. On the start, he had Harrison Burton lead the field from the inside with Carson Quaffle on the outside, and Harrison Burton got a fantastic start on the inside of Carson Quaffle and was able to take the race lead, and he would start pulling away from the field. But as the run continued on, Eric Almirola's car started coming in really quickly, especially in a longer run. They battled pretty hard for the race lead for a couple laps there between Eric Almirola and Harrison Burton. And then eventually on lap number 17, Eric Almirola got the run on Harrison Burton and was able to clear for the race lead, and he started pulling away. The first caution race will come out lap number 32 when My Snyder got turned by Daniel Dye going into turn 1. Actually, it was Nick Sanchez. He got into Nick Sanchez, spun him out going into 1. Nye got a little bit of damage on his car, but was able to continue going. That will bring out the caution. We saw a little strategy where majority leaders would stay out, come down pit road, except Brendan Queen, Jeb Burton, Christian Eckes, Sam Mayer, Daniel Dye, Ryan Ellis, Connor Zilch, Anthony Alfredo, and Brad Perez, with Justin Allgaier being the first car off pit road. And then on the restart, you have Brendan Queen lead the field from the inside with Jeb Burton on the outside, and Jeb Burton had contact with Sam Mayer going into turn number 1, and Jeb was not happy on the radio with Sam Mayer about that, and Brendan was able to clear for the race lead, and he started pulling away a little bit. And then on lap number 46, the second caution race would come out for Connor Mosack, who spun in turn number 4, just lost it in the corner, no one got into him, he just spun out. Unfortunately, tough break for Connor, who wasn't having the best night as it is. And then on the restart, you have Brendan Queen lead the field from the inside with Sam Mayer on the outside, and they both remain side by side for the race lead, with Justin Allgaier moving into third position. A couple laps later, Sam Mayer got the run on Brendan Butterbean Queen and was able to take the race lead, and then a few laps later, Justin Allgaier got the run on Sam Mayer and passed him into turn number 2 and was able to clear him in turn number 3 and take the race lead. Sam Mayer would try to get back the race lead, but unfortunately would lock the tires up going in turn number 1 and would lose a ton of positions. Justin Allgaier was able to pull away, and he would come off the corner and win stage number 1, followed by Eric Almirola, Brendan Queen, Brandon Jones, and Sam Mayer. And then during the caution, majority of the guys that basically stayed out during the first yellow, they would come down pit road, including Brendan Queen, Sam Mayer, Christian Eckes, Daniel Dye, Parker Retzlaff, Garrett Smithley, while guys Anthony Alfredo, Connor Zilch, and I believe Jeb Burton would actually stay out. And then on the next restart, after a long caution, you had Justin Allgaier lead the field from the inside with Brandon Jones on the outside, and Justin Allgaier got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the race lead. And then Eric Almirola started battling Brandon Jones for second position. After about 14 or 15 laps, as Allgaier started pulling away, Eric Almirola was able to get the run and move up to second position on Brandon Jones. The next caution in the race will come out lap number 92 for Jeb Burton spinning in turn number 2. It looked like Jeb may have had a flat tire going off for turn number 2, just lost in the corner, nowhere to go for him. Tough break for Jeb. His night wasn't really going good as it is. And then majority leaders would actually come down pit road, except Carson Quaffle, Anthony Alfredo, Brendan Queen, Nick Sanchez, Christian Eckes, Sam Mayer, and Parker Retzlaff. And then on the next restart, which because Jesse Love also had multiple issues on pit road at this point, got equipment interference penalty. But on the next restart, you had Carson Quaffle lead the field from the inside with Brendan Queen on the outside. And Carson Quaffle got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the race lead. And Carson pulled away a little bit, but Brendan Queen would keep up for the next 10 to 15 laps and eventually started pulling away. As the run was going on, unfortunately, Thomas and Uzi had started losing engine on the front stretch. He got a ton of damage on Daniel Dye and Jeremy Clements' car, but the green flag would stay out as Carson Quaffle got a few tenths out front and would come off the corner and win stage number 2, followed by Brendan Queen, Christian Eckes, Sam Mayer, and Taylor Gray. And then during the caution, Carson Quaffle, Brendan Queen, Christian Eckes, Anthony Alfredo, Nick Sanchez, Connor Zilch, Justin Bonziner, Parker Retzlaff, Austin Green would all come down pit road while the rest leaders would stay out as Carson Quaffle had a bad pit stop and Josh Williams got a penalty for too many crew members over the wall. They had a very long caution because of the Thomas news. He had an engine blow up that took a long time for them to get back going, but after about 18 laps, we got back going with Sam Mayer sat out leading the field from the inside with Taylor Gray on the outside, and Sam Mayer got a decent restart and was able to clear for the race lead. Taylor Gray actually locked up the tires a couple laps later and faded back quite a bit, but eventually Eric Almirola and those guys were trying to catch Sam Mayer, who was on older tires at that point. They battled for a couple laps as Taylor Gray got back up to third position, and Eric was able to get the run on the inside of Sam Mayer and took the race lead with Taylor Gray falling in front and pursuing. And then we saw a really great and fantastic battle between for the next 5 to 10 laps between Taylor Gray and Eric Almirola. There was contact between them, beating and banging side by side for the race lead, putting on an awesome, a really good show against those guys. Eventually, we kept having more and more contact between them as they were catching lap cars, including Jesse Love, who continued to struggle all night long. But one guy that was actually coming at this point was Justin Bonziner, who had fresher tires and was charging his way up into third position as his car was coming in on the long run. And it looked like we were going to have a 3-car battle for the win, but 58 to go, everything would change. Brendan Poole got in the back of Brendan Queen, spinning him out, just overshot the corner, just completely dumped him into turn number 3. He speeds Brendan Queen and Josh Williams, and then Brendan Poole comes out on the racetrack, and Connor Zilic and Corey Day have nowhere to go. They both get damaged in the incident crash, bringing out the caution. I do not know what Brendan Poole was doing there, to be honest. Brendan's usually a smarter driver than that, so to see him make a move like that, pretty inexcusable move from Brendan Poole on his part, but that would change everything with bringing out the caution with 58 laps to go. Majority leaders would then come down pit road, except Nick Sanchez and Brad Perez. As then on the next restart with 50 to go, you had Nick Sanchez lead the field from the inside with Taylor Gray on the outside, and Taylor Gray got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the race lead, and Taylor Gray started checking out and pulling away. Meanwhile, Carson Quaffle is also charging his way up to the front. It looks like Carson's going to get in the championship four instantly. Not so fast. With 32 to go, another caution would come out for an incident between Parker Retzlaff and Brad Perez. Parker Retzlaff got turned by someone going into turn number 1, and Brad Perez had nowhere to go and got collected in the incident crash. That would bring out the caution. During the yellow, Nick Sanchez, Ryan Ellis, Connor Mosack, Josh Williams all came down pit road. And then on the restart, you had Taylor Gray lead the field from the inside with Eric Almirola on the outside, and Taylor Gray got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the lead. But then the next lap, trouble strike for the driver was in on points, that being Carson Quaffle, who got turned by Ryan Sieg, who was battling Harris Burn for about 10th position at that point, and Ryan Sieg just missed the corner, gets into Carson Quaffle, spinning him out, bringing out the caution. Tough break for Carson at that point, but we knew that Carson Quaffle, after he got spun, was going to be in hyper-aggressive mode. On the restart, you had Taylor Gray lead the field from the inside with Eric Almirola on the outside, and Taylor Gray got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the lead, with Sammy Smith moving up to second position. As it was continuing to happen, Carson Quaffle was getting really aggressive and charging his way up to the front and move up to around 19th or 20th position, getting into drivers, trying to get up there and making moves as Brandon Jones was coming as well. And moved up to 20th position, that being Quaffle. With 5 laps to go, everything would change when Daniel Dye ended up spinning out and hit the outside wall with the flat tire, bringing out the yellow and the caution. And as we got to the final restart of the race, you had Taylor Gray lead the field from the inside with Sammy Smith on the outside, and Taylor Gray got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the race lead, with Sammy Smith moving up to second position. As it came to the white flag, we were all thinking, could we see a potential possibility of what happened to spring happen again, where Sammy Smith could dump Taylor Gray on the white flag of the event? While Sammy Smith was probably thinking about it, he would use his head going turn number 3, would not Hail Mary it in the corner. He tried to get there but could not get there, and coming off the final corner, Taylor Gray comes off the corner, gets redemption from the spring, and picks up his first career NASCAR Xfinity Series win and his first career win in NASCAR's top touring divisions. What a redemption night for Taylor Gray. A well-earned and well-deserved victory for Taylor to get that first win. This 54 team has had a lot of pace and speed, especially in the second half of the year, but they haven't been able to get that win. He's had multiple second-place finishes and third-place finishes. This has been one of the stronger teams in the second half of the year. It's a shame he got eliminated earlier in the playoffs, but I was really impressed with Taylor tonight. I think he had the best car without question. You knew he was going to have a chance and opportunity to go to victory lane. I'm happy for Taylor, and I'm really happy to see him get redemption because he earned it tonight. tonight. Put together a great run, put on a good show against Eric on roll throughout the night. Massive congratulations him on picking up the win and victory. A well-earned and well-deserved win. And once again, good to see Taylor Gray. A feel-good moment and a feel-good story for the sport. Good to see Taylor Gray get redemption on a night where I think the racing was pretty good. Good to see Taylor Gray get that first career NASCAR Xfinity Series win. So now we're going ahead and take a look at the race results. Again, my score and thoughts on today's race. So Taylor Gray picks up the win. Sammy Smith finishes second. Sammy Smith had a really good night tonight, was aggressive at points, but had a top 5 car most of the evening. Unfortunately, despite his best efforts, Sammy Smith misses out by about 5 or 6 points and will not race for a championship at Phoenix. Probably shouldn't have made the championship as it is. But a good night for Sammy, putting together one of his better runs. And I got to give him a lot of credit for not racing like an idiot throughout majority of the night. I would say he held himself back, and I got respect for Sammy on that front. Good night for Sammy Smith. He finished second. Brandon Jones finished third. A great night for Brandon Jones tonight. Had a solid year. Unfortunately, his chance to go for a championship is over, sadly. Brandon just unfortunately had a bad race at Talladega, and Vegas wasn't the best run for Brandon Jones. That cost him a shot at going for the championship. He finished third, though. A good night, but not enough of an effort to go to the championship. He finished third. Sheldon Creed finished fourth. Hey, at least he didn't finish second this time around like he's done 15 or 16 times. Sheldon had a solid night, was in that 5th to 10th place range a lot of the evening, showed some decent pace and speed, gets a top 5, but not enough to go for a championship. Eric Almirola finished 5th. I think Eric had the second best car outside of Taylor Gray in this race. He actually looked to be the best car early. It seemed like his car faded as the runs progressed and we had all the restarts. His car wasn't that good on the short run, but was really good on the long run. But for Eric, doesn't get the win like he did last year at this track. Tough break for Eric to not get the win, but he will go for the Owners' Championship next Saturday. He finishes in 5th. Jeb Byrne finished 6th. Jeb Byrne had a lot of adversity throughout the night. He had contact with Sam Mayer, spun out at one point, and gets redemption and gets a really strong top 10 finish and good can bounce back run from him as well. He finishes 6th. Sam Mayer finished 7th, was really aggressive all night long, running into people throughout the night, but he does get a top 10. Unfortunately, Sam Mayer is the final driver to not make the championship 4. Just unfortunately, Talladega did not go well. That unfortunately cost him a shot. He finished 7th. Decent day for him, but not enough to go for a championship. Dean Thompson finished 8th. Solid night for him. It was announced today that he will be back with Sam Hunt Racing in 2026. Another top 10 run. Pretty good day for Dean Thompson. Connor Zilisch finishes 9th. Connor was involved in incidents throughout the night, was involved in 2 or 3 crashes throughout this evening, and had not maybe one of his worst races of the year, and he still comes home with a top 10. So a solid night for Connor Zilisch. Will go race for a championship. Probably just a night that he was ready to get out of here as it is. He does get a top 10, unlike the spring where he had a dominant car. Does get a top 10. Probably not his best run overall, but it is what it is. He finishes 9th. And Justin Bonsignor finishes 10th. Had not been for that caution with about 50 laps to go, I think Justin could have been a threat to win this race. He was putting together maybe his best Xfinity run he's ever put together. Had a great night the other night racing the modified event, got the win over there. A really strong run for Justin. Best run he's had this year in Xfinity. He finishes in 10th. Harrison Burton finished 11th, won the pole, was in the top 10 early, had some contact, unfortunately, that kind of almost put Carson Quaff in a bad position, but Harrison had a big day announcing to go to Sam Hunt Racing. Solid night, but not a spectacular night, but he does get a top 15. Austin Hill finished 12th. Quiet night for him. The RCR cars really struggled tonight. He was running like 20th to 25th a lot of the evening, which was really surprising for Austin Hill. He finished 12th. Corey Day finished 13th. Had a couple incidents throughout the night. He had a flat tire, I think, at one point, and gets a top 15. So decent night for him. Plays some strategy to get up in the top 10 at points. My center gets a top 14. Solid night for my inside the top 15. Ryan Seega was just really aggressive all night long, which is surprising for Ryan. He finishes in 15th. Anthony Alfredo finishes 16th. Patrick Sarapoli finished 17th. He was in the top 10 in the second half of this race, so I got to give him credit. Put together one of his better Xfinity runs of the year. He does finish 17th. Carson Quavel finished 18th. Makes it in by the skin of his teeth. Getting those stage points early helped him go for a championship. Well earned for Carson, though. Put together a great performance tonight. Put together a great comeback. Had to get into some people at the end, but he does make the championship. So a great night for Carson to finish inside the top 20. He finishes 18th. Nick Sanchez finished 19th. Blaine Perkins finished 20th. Kyle Seek finished 21st. Ryan Ellis finished 22nd. Jesse Love finished 23rd. He just gets in by the skin of his teeth. Jesse Love's car was horrendous all night. He qualified decent tonight, but unfortunately, it just didn't seem like the car was there. They were having, I think, some engine issues, something like that. Went a lap down at one point. But that caution that came out late saved them from being eliminated from the playoffs because Jesse Love's going for a championship, came in 40 points, makes it in by like 4 or 5. He did enough to get in though, but just not a good night in general. He finished 23rd. Austin Green finished 24th. Connor Mosack finished 25th. Justin Allgaier finished 26th. He had some damage on his car and faded back near the end. Justin had a really good car early, but unfortunately lost a shot to go for the win. He finished 26th. Christian Atkins finished 27th. Josh Williams finished 28th. Parker Reslap finished 29th. Garrett Smithley finished in 30th. Brad Press finished 31st. Mason Maggio finished 32nd. Daniel Dye finished 33rd. Jeremy Clemens finished in 34th. Brendan Queen finished 35th. He had a ton of damage on the radiator from that big wreck. That's tough because Brendan was inside the top 10 pretty much majority of this race. Just nothing to show for at the end. He finished 35th. Brendan Poole finished 36th. Takuma Koga finished 37th. And Thomas Uzieter, after his engine issues, finished last in 38th. So like I mentioned, the 4 drivers going for a championship: Connor Zilisch, Justin Allgaier, Jesse Love, and Carson Quaffle. So Chevrolet, no matter what, will win the manufacturer's title for the Xfinity Series this year, and one of those drivers will go for a championship. Connor Zilisch absolutely deserves a championship, but I really don't have a major issue with the Final 4. All 4 have had really solid years this year in Xfinity, all put together some really strong runs, and good for Carson, who's still looking to try to fill out the rest of the schedule for next year, but I have no issue with the 4 that made it this year. No major problems there. So now, let's talk about the overall race as a whole. Again, my score and thoughts on today's race. I think y'all know this kind of by the tone coming into the weekend. I was really nervous and really concerned about this race because of how the spring went. The spring, in my opinion, was one of the worst Martinsville races we have probably ever seen, and maybe one of the biggest travesties we've seen in NASCAR Xfinity Series history. To the point before tonight's race, they actually had a talking to by officials. And it seemed like they worked out tonight because tonight, this is, to me, is one of the biggest redemption races we have seen maybe in Xfinity Series history. We go from maybe one of the worst races in Martinsville history to maybe one of the better Xfinity Series races we have seen in Martinsville history. I really enjoyed this race. Yes, tires didn't matter too much, but we had a great battle up front at points, especially between Taylor Gray, Eric Almirola. You had amazing battles throughout the night, solid racing. You had guys that were able to pass. It wasn't impossible to pass throughout the night, and that's what Martinsville is. It's hard to pass, but not impossible to pass, and I was a little worried at the end that we're going to get, unfortunately, not the best ending to the race because of all the chaos and the final yellows. But you get that at the end of these Martinsville races. 9 yellows tonight, which is not that bad. I think tonight's race was really good. The field actually really generally behaved themselves. I didn't see anything too overly stupid throughout the night, which is good for an Xfinity Series race because a lot of times it can get stupid in Martinsville. Tonight's race, really fun to watch. Glad to see I'm not upset after. I had a lot of fun. My score of tonight's race, I'm going to give this race a 9 out of 10. It was really, really fun to watch, really enjoyable, a good winner, a great storyline to see that him gets first career win for Taylor Gray. I enjoyed tonight's race. My score is a 9 out of 10. So, that is going to be tonight's NASCAR Xfinity Series race review from Martinsville. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Notifications on so if when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's race. What are your thoughts on tonight's race? Let me know below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And congratulate Taylor Gray on picking up his first career Xfinity Series victory. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow morning on the channel, we're going to have the NASCAR Cup Series starting lineup for the race coming up here tomorrow at Martinsville. We'll have the race review. We'll talk about the tires being a factor. Then we might be doing a Shane Van Gisbergen video. Then on Monday, we're going to be doing the Truck Series Championship predictions. And then we'll also, of course, we'll be doing, of course, the NASCAR news video dropping and showing a lot of silly season stuff dropping over the course of the last couple days. That'll drop later in the day. And then, of course, there's going to be some other content dropping as well throughout the week. We'll also have the Xfinity and the Cup Series Championship predictions and race picks dropping as well. We got content coming on people like Haley Deegan, Shane Van Gisbergen, Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bo Walsh, Ross Chastain, Sheldon Creed, Sam Merritt, Frankie Muniz, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Ryan Preece, Cletus Vaughn, Dodge Ram, Will Brown, Brian Finney, Cam Waters, among other things as well, along with Junior Motorsports. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode. I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.